Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Divers Ready. My name's James. As always, so great to see all of your smiling faces out there. I hope you're all doing really well. I hope you're enjoying this series. Thank you so much to everyone who commented on the first episode with some of your hilarious stories about diving in strong currents. I really appreciate that interaction, and it was great to hear from all of you. Feel free to do the same in this video. We're going to be talking about visibility. So I want to hear your stories about diving in amazing, stunning, gin clear viz as far as the eye can see. And I also want to hear your stories about diving in absolutely terrible viz where you lost your buddy and you both surfaced a half mile away from each other and all that kind of good jazz. So I love that interaction. Thank you so much. As always, I want to say thank you to our sponsor for this series of videos, Rite, manufacturers of equipment for serious divers. You guys know I love the partnership that we've got with Rite because they are a powerhouse when it comes to recreational and technical dive gear, both aspects of scuba diving that I am super passionate about. And they care about the same thing that I care about, which is making you better, safer divers. That's why they sponsor this video series. So if you haven't done so already, and if you feel like throwing me a big thank you, the best way you can do that is head to Rite's social media channels, all of which are linked in the description of this video below. Show them some love and let them know that James from Divers Ready sent you. I appreciate it. I really do. Right, so in this video, we're going to be looking at bad visibility, what causes bad viz, and how you can factor it into your dive plan. It's really easy to dive in gin clear, beautiful water where you can see as far as the eye can see. It's much harder when that visibility is compromised. So we're going to be talking about what causes bad viz and how you can best dive in it to stay safe. When we plan a dive to a particular site, we have information, we have science resources that can tell us what most conditions are going to be like once we get to the dive site, right? We have weather monitoring stations, we have weather predictions, we have wave and surf reports and all that good stuff. There isn't really a tool, not a reliable one anyway, that will tell you what the visibility is going to be like until you actually get out to the dive site and have a look yourself. And the reason for that is because there are so many different factors that go into determining whether you're going to have good water clarity or not. Waves certainly play a major part in good visibility. The calmer the water, generally the better the conditions will be in terms of viz. The rougher the water, the more stirred up the silt is going to be, and the detritus and all the particulate in the water is going to be much finer, and that's going to lead to bad visibility. If you have algal blooms, phytoplankton, zooplankton, all this good stuff in bloom when you get out to a dive site, that is obviously going to lead to a decrease in visibility. Rain is a big part of decreased visibility. If you have a lot of rain over coastal areas, you get a lot of silt washed out through the rivers, out into the ocean mouth, and that can lead to a major decrease in visibility as well. And then you've got to couple all of those factors with how much light do you have, what time of day do you have, what's the angle of the sun, is it cloudy or not? All of those factors are going to play into how much visibility you actually have under the water. I remember growing up as a diver in the UK, we used to say, you know, a good day you had 4 feet of viz. 1 foot this way, 1 foot behind you, 1 foot on each side. That was about it. But we would always plan that the visibility was going to be bad. My first 100 dives looked like cabbage soup. Really, they did. And then 1 in every 100 dives, you might be pleasantly surprised with, oh, I can see about 3 meters, 10 feet. And it's a good day. Flip that on the other side of the coin, the best visibility I've probably ever had would be Tahiti. That was like diving in gin. It was just so crystal clear for as far as the eye could see that it was actually kind of hard to judge distance because you could see so far. Brace yourselves, vintage mask photo coming up. I also used to dive with a club in Australia where we wouldn't dive after it had been raining because the wash off and the rivers that fed out into the ocean close to the dive sites that we would frequent would cause a massive drop in visibility. Not that that on its own was an issue, but that would bring in the bull sharks, and there was a pretty significant chance you could have an unfriendly encounter with one of them. So in that instance, bad viz would actually cancel the dive. There's a thing. All right, so let's say you've pulled up to the dive site and the visibility is less than optimum. How do you adjust your dive plan to dive in bad viz? Well, apart from leave your camera on the boat, this is my best advice. Number 1, absolutely make sure you've got a light. I carry a light with me on every dive, regardless of the viz, on the day, or the sunlight, whatever. It's an essential piece of safety equipment. But you're going to absolutely want to make sure you've got one in the event that you have bad viz, because it's going to make you just that little bit more visible to your buddy. Not that it's necessarily going to be able to penetrate through, and in fact it might actually cause more glare and more backscatter. So it might not increase your viz, but it will make you more visible to other people. So top tip, carry a light, have it on, and use it as you go through the dive. Second of all, like a pilot flying in heavy cloud cover, you are going to have to trust your gauges, specifically your compass and your depth gauge. Those are absolutely crucial. It is very easy to get disorientated when you are swimming in bad visibility. It's very easy to go deeper than you meant to go or swim up too fast because you don't have that line of sight and that natural reference point. So make sure you've got gauges, make sure you understand how to use them, and trust them when you dive. Third piece of advice comes to you from one of my students who dives in Colorado in a muddy or low vis reservoir all the time, and that is everything you buy that you wear scuba diving should be as bright a color as possible. I'm talking fluorescent yellow fins, fluorescent yellow gloves. That's what this guy showed up with. I couldn't lose him if I tried, and trust me, I tried. My next tip for you is make sure that you and your buddy have a plan to stay together, and make sure you understand the lost buddy drill. The biggest issue that you have when diving in bad visibility is losing one another. So make sure you know, okay, we're going to stay at the same depth, look around for 1 minute. If we don't find each other, make a safe, slow ascent and reconnect on the surface. That is absolutely crucial, especially if you're diving with not your regular buddy and it's bad visibility. That is a recipe for we're going to lose each other and you're going to need to find a new buddy. So definitely take that under consideration, but I don't want to make it sound like diving in bad viz is all bad news. There are some advantages. Number one being the fish feel like they've got more cover, so you actually get better interactions with the vast majority of the fish population. Kind of enjoy that. And also I find that it makes me more focused. If you have loads of visibility, it kind of makes you lazy and so on. Whereas in bad visibility, I feel like I stay tighter, my trim is better, and I'm more focused on the fundamentals. Because you kind of got to be. So that's not bad. And also, of course, one bad viz dive every now and then really makes you appreciate when you get a good viz day. So that's the thing. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's about all the advice I've got for you for diving in compromised visibility. I want to say a great big thank you again to this series sponsor, Rite, equipment for serious divers. I couldn't be happier to be partnering with these guys again. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't done so already, please do me the favor of heading over to Rite and telling them thank you for helping James make his content. All of the links to Rite's social channels are in the description of this video below. If you enjoyed this video, if you haven't done so already, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Big button just there. And give this video the old thumbs up. Don't forget to drop us a comment as well. What was your best viz ever? What was your worst viz ever? When did you lose your buddy and how? And did you go out and buy him a set of yellow fins immediately the next day? That's all I got. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. My name's James. This was your Divers Ready video for this week. Dive safe, dive often.